Excuse. Oh, yeah, actually. Hello. Hello. Oh, where is it? Yeah, that's cool. We'll start it. Huh. Which one doesn't belong, Ethan? Real. Well, just take a look at it. I don't know. Can you see it very good? I'll make it bigger. Which one doesn't belong? What is my screen? I already got one. All right, now you find one, right? Try to find another one. All right, so help me if everyone should the bottom left one. No, there's one for everyone. The only one that gave me a hard time was this one. I have to get all the way. Oh, I got one too. All right, good. Try to find four. Those make me hungry to see that butter. Oh, right, I got snatched. I know, right? Best ever. Yeah. Well, he's best. This one. Choice. So the day was like snack. I would say something, but I'd like to sign in. Also, how that makes sense. It's a healthy problem. We will be in the packet. We'll need a calculator. I'm going to get your calculators for you today, but I'd like you to know that you can pick them up and have you see them in the cart. That's what the calculators are. Does any of you already have one that's like that? If not, I'm going to be No. Today we're going to learn how to use the calculator. I got this calculator. I don't know how I should do this. Usually I give you numbers. Okay, I'll give you numbers. Andre will be 1, 2, 5, 5, 6, 7. Okay, that's okay. What number did I say you? Oh, 6. Okay, that's okay. Your chair is how I'm giving you this number, so if you're still 6, we don't need one. All right, 7, 8, 9, 10. Maybe you're 10. Remember that one? Okay. Now, we need 1, 2. What else do we need? 5. Right. What are you, Anthony? 5, 6. Yeah. No, we need 10. Okay. I'm going to give them to you. Then we'll do it again. See if you turn on it. Take some time, a minute after you press on. Weird. Yeah, right there, 10. I think that one says 9, so let me double check. Hello, Mr. Jordan. Yes. Okay. Today I have, they're learning a calculator, and it's like the only day actually that would be, if there's any way. All right, sorry, Jess. Thank you. Bye-bye. It was Miss Williamson. She went through her lesson. But we're learning basic, yeah. And so I said, we're just learning the calculator. Every other time you can just watch a video, you know what I mean? But if you're home, you won't have a calculator. So sorry about that. Here's number 10. Okay. Anyone online at home? Yeah, 2 people. Admit all. I think I pressed admit. Oh my goodness. What if I said delete all? No, good. They're there. Yeah, that would be insane. Okay, your starter problem is which one of these doesn't belong. I got it. You got one? Okay, good. Nobody's done it. You can all steal it. What do you think, Tanner? On the bottom left one. Yeah, easy Y. That's the only one. It's only one of one coin. Okay, you got these one out of the way. Anthony, another one? I'll write one now. This one? Why? No. Tails. I no one found it on first period. Good job. Everybody's like, why is that one different? You can't, it's hard to see its tails. And then I'm looking at it, I'm like, I don't think I ever remember seeing the tail of the dime. Like, what is on there? I don't even know. Looks like a torch. Yeah.
The top right one.
Yeah, why?
Because it doesn't go beyond double digits.
There doesn't nickel. Ooh, in your face, competitive boy. Oh, it has those ones that don't go. Okay, all these conditions. Yeah, I'm gonna say, but the other one you got right.
I thought it was a quarter for a second.
That is a nickel. Yeah. Oh, I get it. They thought it was a quarter. Haley, why doesn't this one belong to you? There is a reason. No shout it out. What? You're not sure. Bronze, it's also known as, you know the element, Andre? Metal? When I ask for Andre, I'm not asking for Hunter or Ethan. You got some friends there trying to help you out for this copper. Right? Does that make sense? All right, online, anyone want to tell me why quarters are special? Oh, here's an answer. Here's Hunter answering again. Okay, you got, yeah, nice. Oh, Taylor, I wish these coins were made of silver. They're actually made of nickel. Isn't that weird? Dimes are made of nickel. Quarters are made of nickel. And the
nickels are made of copper.
Okay. In fact, they're so cheap these days because the coin, this is a quarter, it was twice as heavy as before. Oh, wait, I'm going to get instant. Because they used to be full of nickel. Now they put whatchamacallit on it. They fill it with sheet metal zinc inside. Yeah. Is that enough? I gave you guys. If you guys like more,
or too much.
You see, it's a good hand sensor, but then I put it down. I can see it. Yeah. Oh, fight COVID. It's what they can talk about. All right, guys. So that was good. Good job, Taylor. Thanks for participating. Okay. Your lesson is in lesson 6, I think, or 7. Let me open it up in the book. But you'll need your thing with you. Yes.
Is the nickel test mandatory?
Yes. Other questions? All right. We have mentioned there are different ways to solve equations. I could read this now. Consider this equation. Using standard methods, solve this equation using standard methods. Show us the solution by checking. All right, let's do it, guys. So let's use standard methods to solve this equation. I don't know how to stand nowadays. Is that okay? Hard. I want to face you guys, but I also want to face the screen. I also want you guys to see the screen. Okay. There I am. Okay. So how do you solve it? You just solve for x. So I'm going to add x to both sides and get 4x minus 2 equals 10, and then add 2 to both sides to get 4x equals 12 and x equals 3. Ethan, am I done there? Yes or no?
No,
No. Good. You have to solve it for y as well. Well, we solve the equation. We just solve for x. I guess there's only x's there, so we're all good. Normally we would be doing for y, but it's just 2 equations. Okay, so we know x equals 3. The 2 equations meet. Let's look at you using your calculator. Fill in the table below with the 2 equations. That's not too hard, right? So you take these numbers and you plug them in for x. So 3 times 0 minus 2, Andre, is what? 3 times 0 is 0 minus 2 is excellent. We're off to a great start, 100% right. Haley, when you put 1 into the equation, what do you get? Yeah, so it's, yep, 1. Such a boring answer. Could you guys do the rest of the table for me? I'll get you your paper right now. I just noticed you need one. And then you guys, if you have packages, you can get up anytime and throw them over in the garbage can or on your way out. Just don't forget them and leave them on the desk. That would be inconsiderate. All right, y'all fill in the table, okay? Okay, so you might have. You might even see patterns. Does anyone see a pattern? Do you want to see a pattern when they did the table?
Nope.
Anthony did. What did you see? Yes. The first one goes up by 3. Gary, no, David, do you see how the first, whoa, okay, hit, that meant to be a highlighter, but it is not. Let me see if I can undo that. The first one goes up by 3. And this one goes up by, or down by, yeah, up by -1 or down. Now, what's the number in front of x, Andre? 3. What's the number in front of x here, honey? No, close, -1. You see why it's -1? What did we go down by? -1. What did we go up over here by? 3. Do you all get that pattern? That's a pattern through all of linear algebra. Now, circle the solution. Could you circle the pair that represents the solution? Sure. This is the solution, guys. The pair that represents the solution, I'll write it down here, is when x equals 3, y equals 7. That is the solution to our system of equations. I'm about to teach you how on your calculator to make this table, so you don't have to do all the math, and you can just find out where the 2 y's are equal. That's where the 2 equations are equal. You're going to have a table that has x's, you have a table that says y's. Any questions? Okay, let's move on. Using your calculator, graph the 2 lines. Okay, now could you guys open your calculator? Wait, let me make sure I'm recording. No, yeah, we're recording fine. We're going to put both of these equations Oh, what lesson are we on? Lesson 6, isn't it right? Lesson 6, Andre. The lesson is on the very bottom of the page. Were you able to find it? Okay. All right. Now, can you open your calculator and turn it on? Make sure it turns on. Oh, good. Give me a heads up. Oh yeah, thumbs up or something. Okay. Now your screen looks a little different than mine. And Annabelle and Taylor, when you come back to school, we'll get you a calculator. If you can get a calculator of your own at home, that's great. But I have extra calculators. They're on the wall over there. I can leave them by the foyer for you, Annabelle. Okay, so your screen should be blinking like this. If it doesn't, I need you to just know how to reset your calculator right away. So if you have crap in there, it gets rid of it because other people will use it. You're going to press the sequence of buttons called Senkit Plus 712. I'm going to write that down on the board for people in class. You press the Senkit button. It's a blue button on the top left. It's oh my gosh, my screen doesn't show it. I'll make it small so you can see. Senkit plus sign, sorry. Senkit plus sign, and then 712. The number 712. Now, yours might be a little different, David. I'm not sure. Do you want to use the calculator that you'll be using on the Regents?
Is it the same model except this looks different? Or
Yeah, it's just color, I think, but there might be differences in buttons. If you do find differences,
if
just
there's difference in buttons, then I'll switch.
okay. There might be. The problem is I don't know. Do you want to just work with yours and see if it does end up being different? Okay, can you guys see it now completely? You could when I did it, right? We're good now, right? All right, so you should press Senkit, and you'll see that when I do this, it tells you the down here. It tells you the numbers I pressed. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't see what I do, you can sort of see what I do there. I don't know. I guess I have to go this way. I don't like to face it. I like to stand up. And then I press 7. And I press 7 to reset it, 1 to reset all, and 2 to actually reset. And then you'll see this, and then you press clear, and clear's on the top right. Do you want me to do it again? I'm going to clear everything out of there so you see a clear screen. So now we're at cursor. Give me a thumbs up if you're good so far. Okay, now we're going to press the Y equals button, which is in the top left. We're going to type in the first equation. And if you remember, our equation is 3x minus 2. So we do 3. Where's the X button? It's on the top second row of the black keys. At 3x minus 2. And then press enter. This calculator needs you to press enter a lot. And then we need another equation. And it says 10 minus x. There's 2 kinds of minuses. You'll notice I'm using the minus button on the right side. The one on the very bottom left is a negative button. It makes numbers or letters negative. Oh, I pressed it wrong, didn't I? Do you guys notice I was supposed to write 10 minus x, I believe? And so how do I fix that? I would love to say I did that on purpose, but I just made a mistake. You can delete everything, but you notice how pressing delete doesn't actually solve the problem. It doesn't do anything except for delete where the cursor is. So you can use the D-pad, the direction pad, and go right, and then press delete. And then you can press, it was supposed to be X, I believe. So then I'm going to press the X. And then I've looked at both of my equations. I have to press enter to say, okay, computer, remember these 2 equations. And then the instructions say, using the calculator, sketch a graph of the 2 lines. Use a window, use a window of 2x and y is -2 to 11. Use your calculator. Okay, so now I'm going to do something that changes the window. Do you see a window button up here? There's one on the very top row. Here, I'll show you what it looks like before I do it to show you why we're pressing it. So when I press window, if I press graph right now, it will graph it, and that's a nice looking graph. But I'm going to press window. Could you all graph it? Just look at it, make sure you get a graph. It's a fine. And do you see how there's 2 lines there and they meet, and that's great. But I'm going to show you how to make it even nicer, because our graph doesn't look like their graph on the paper, does it? And I want you to be able to manipulate your screen so it looks like this screen, so that when you draw the picture of it, it looks exactly the same. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to press window. And now you see X min, X max. It says my min, my width, how should I say it? I'm going to highlight it. It says my X's should be between -2 and 6. So I'm going to change my X min to be -2. So I'm going to type in, delete that, clear it. And I'm going to type in -2 as my lowest X, and then press enter. And then my X max, it says my maximum X is 6. I'm going to press 6. Oops. And then we're going to go up by 1, so that's fine. I just press enter to get past it. Then my minimum Y, according to this range, the lowest Y is what? Yeah, I know Ethan knows. Does everyone else see where he sees it? Could you put in the minimum Y, the Y min, and the Y max in the calculator? And then check your screen to make sure it looks like my screen. I'm not even done yet, but I'm almost there. Make sure you use the Y max is, what was the Y max, guys? 11. Enter. That everybody make sure your screen, window screen, looks like my window screen. It's going to change the look of the window. Now I'm going to press graph, and you can press graph to see if it looks and the reason I say is because it looks like this graph over here. You know what I mean? Its axes are shifted, like focusing on the first quadrant. And do you think you could do a good job of sketching that on your paper? Could you try that now? So right now I'm going to sketch that out. I mean, I don't think mine is perfect, but it's okay. Yours may be better than mine. Oh, my colors are opposite than my graph, but it's okay. Okay, everybody's able to graph up 2 lines, right? Yeah. All right, excellent. We're on the right track here. All right, now we're going to go to the next level. It says, fill in the blanks. To solve the equation f of x of gx, you do what to both of the graph? What do you do to both of f of x and gx? And then you find the blank points with their graph. Okay, so what do we do here? I guess a lot of different words can go in here, but I'm going to choose these. We graph. You notice how we graphed them? And then we find there's a special name for where the 2 lines meet. Does anybody know what it's called? It starts with I. The point where 2 lines meet is called I. Yeah, Anthony? Excellent use of math words. Intersection. And you notice how they use that in real life, right? For intersections where two streets meet, which act like lines. Any question there? All right. Consider this equation. X squared minus 11 equals negative 2x. We're going to have a different kind of equation now. So we're going to have to type this in our calculator. So let's go ahead and start that now. How do we clear out the old equations? And how do we get a fresh screen? You know what I mean? Because right now this is that as all that. You can do you can just do what I did like in the beginning is delete everything, but I don't do that a lot. I'll show you what I do. I press Y equals, and I just retype, I just press clear, and then I go down and clear this one. So you'll notice how I press both of those buttons. I just moved down and cleared them up. Then I'm going to press up arrow, and I'm going to type in the equation. Now keep in mind, there's two equations. This equation and this equation. You see how there's two different equations? We're going to type them both in the calculator and see where they intersect. So let's do it. Let's go ahead and type in those equations. If you need help, just look up here. I'll be doing it. I'll clear my thing for you so you can see everything. I'm going to type in the equation y equals x squared minus 11 first. I press X, and you'll notice the x squared button is right next to the 7 diagonal up from the 7, x squared. What was it? Minus 11. Make sure you use the right minus sign. And then press enter. And then negative 2x plus 4. Negative 2x plus 4. So you want me to do that again? You see where I use the negative sign that time? Press enter to save it. And we can graph it, but it doesn't show everything, right? It doesn't even barely show the intersection. So we're gonna have to change our window. So let's press window. Tell me if I'm going too fast. And the book tells you what to set it to. It says our x's should be between negative 8 and 8. So I'm going to change my window to be negative 8 and positive 8. And it says my y should be between negative 20 and positive 20, I believe. Let me just check. Yep. So make sure your window screen looks like my window screen. Is that good? All right, Hunter, good? Andre, good? If you need a little more time, that's fine. And then I think you know what to do when I press graph. That's better because we see both graphs. We can't click on it like on Desmos and it tells us the answer, you know what I mean? That's sort of disappointing. But it does show us the graph. And this was before Desmos ever was invented. So you see how it's a little more like, I don't want to say clunky, but that's what we use before cell phones and stuff. Show that your answers are solutions by checking the equation. Well, what is our solution? Let me just show you here. For now, we will solve it graphically. Solve this equation graphically using the window. Show your answers are solutions by checking the equations. Okay. Can you guys just look at this graph and tell me where they probably hit at? What do you think our solution is? Do you know what I'm asking you? I do think like 3, -1 maybe, but I'm not sure if that's -1. Do you remember how they go up by 20? Oh, it does?
Yeah, I figured how it's if you use the D-pad, you go off of it and put it where it.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. So you can find like this. I like your thinking. I still think it's a little bit lower though, Connor. I think it's closer to 3, -2. What do you think?
Yeah, because yeah, this is -1.5.
I mean, it's close, Hunter. I agree. Do you agree it's a little hard to tell? Me and Hunter both have tried it, looking at it, and we're not exactly sure. I'm going to show you, well, no, let's just test it. We think it's 3, -2. Well, Hunter thinks it's 3, -1, or he did, but he might change his mind. It's okay. I think it might be 3, -2. Do you all see why? Me and Hunter are really close. One of us could be right. I'm going to plug this in to see if it gives me an answer. You know what I mean? Then I also want to find another solution, but I'm going to plug these in right now. So if it's x squared minus 11 equals -2x plus 4, if I plug in 3 over here, I get 9 minus 11. And if I plug 3 in over here, I get -6 plus 4. Here I get -2, and here I get -2, and check. So that looks good, doesn't it? It looks like 3 is a solution to both equations. They make them equal the same thing. So I like my solution. If you plugged in -1, Hunter, you'd find out they don't. I don't know if they come out to be equal. But, oh, do you see how they both come out to be -2? That means we know the answer has to be -2. If we get -2 and we thought it was -1 on the graph, we know we have to go back and look at the graph again. So we checked it, and that's good. Can you guys sketch it really quick? I think it's hard to sketch, but just make sure your intercepts are good. By that, I mean, make sure you have a parabola. Whoa, that's not a good parabola. Make sure you have a parabola that like goes through the right area, like it goes underneath. And then make sure your other line goes above in the right spot. All right. Hey, did we find one solution or two solutions? One. How many intersections are there?
2.
2. Can you guys guesstimate on your calculator what the other solution might be? And then I want you to test your guess, if that makes sense. Test your guess. And you can use the cursor just like Hunter did, which was a great idea. Yeah, it's like I was like telling Hunter, you're wrong, but he was absolutely right to use the cursor. I don't know, it could be like -5, 14 maybe?
Yeah, that's what I got.
It could be. I just feel it's a little high, but it's close enough.
Might as well be.
So I'm going to put that down here. I think another solution is -5, 14. Then I'm going to plug -5 in there, and I get -5 squared, into this equation. I'll write it down so that you don't get confused. -5 squared is 25 minus 11. Should equal -5 times -2, which is 10 plus 11. -5 minus 11 is 14, and that equals 21. That doesn't seem to be right, does it? We found one solution, but I don't know if we found another. Let me look back at my calculator. It might be like part way between there, you know what I mean? It might be 13.5. But we can't find it on a calculator, can we? And I want you to see that we can use our calculator feature called table, and maybe it will give us the more exact solution. So do you see the table button on your calculator? It's in blue above the graph button. Do you see the graph button? Above it is blue. So if it's blue, what button do you think we have to press to activate it?
The second.
Yeah, the second button is blue. So we press second, graph, and we get this table. Now, when I have this table, there's a couple things I want you to see. The first thing, is hopefully your table looks like my table. Is that good? Does your table like start off like 0, 11, 4? All right. Do you notice how, and I want to copy and paste this, so I think I will. I'm going to go up because I already know. Do you see my first solution is 3, -2? And we confirm that is. I'm going to go up to see if anywhere else the two y's are equal to the same thing. Oh, it does equal.
-13.
-5, +14 is the answer. Yes. So it was true. There was just happens to be, what did I do here? Did I do any mistakes here? It is 14. Yeah, we're good. Oh, I know what I did wrong. Does anyone else see what I did wrong? Right here, it should be the purple equation. And so it should be 2x plus 4. And if you have 10 plus 4, it is 14. So I lied to you is a pretty dramatic way of saying I made a mistake. But yeah, I didn't catch that. I think actually it's my poor handwriting. I think when I wrote 4, it looked like that. And then it became in my mind 11. And it's definitely not 11. It's supposed to be a 4. All right. And so we do now know, do you see how I found the solution using the table though? I made a math mistake, but I'm able to solve it. I'm not saying you guys will ever make a mistake, but I think it's handy to know how to solve it when you do. All right. Here's our next equation. It's a special exotic type of equation. It's called absolute value. And I just want you to be able to solve this absolute value equation using your calculator. So open your calculator. We're going to try to plug this equation into it. All right, so I'm going to do that. First thing I'm going to do is go to y equals, and I'm going to clear both of those equations out. And then I'm going to type in my new equation, which is, now this is a hard one. It says 2, but then it says times the absolute value of x plus 1. And do you see how there's none of those cool symbols like absolute value symbols? Now, this is math class, so you might guess that if you can't find anything here, use the math button. And when you press the math button, you'll see all sorts of interesting functions. You see the cube function, the cube root function, the x root function. If you scroll right to number, you'll see ABS. That stands for absolute value, and you press enter. So I'll pause at this screen because I just did a lot. I pressed right arrow after pressing math, and then I'm going to press enter. And I see those absolute value symbols, now they pop up. That's the shortcut to get absolute. And then I type in x plus 1. And then I have to press right arrow to get out of the parentheses because I want the -8 to be out of the parentheses. Does everybody see that? Okay, then I think that's our only equation, so we press graph. That's cool. I'm going to change my window, but I'm going to do it super fast. Okay, I'm going to show you a shortcut. See how my window's still on the old settings? Top and bottom go up by 20. The left and right go by 8. So they look different. It looks like a weird V. I'm going to press zoom. And I want the standard window, like a 10 by 10 or something. You know what I mean? So press zoom 6. That's a nice thing to remember, because if ever you have a weird, funky window, zoom 6 is your way out. And that looks much more like the graph that we have. I know it's not super simple. Okay, anyone have questions there? Find all the values, circle the points on the graph. Where does this function equal 0? Let me just show you right here. Here and here, guys. Could you highlight that? And then write the points. The points are -5, 0, and 3, 0. Find all the values that solve this equation. Okay, so we did that. Excellent. Could you find all the values where this equation equals -2? Notice how it's no longer equal to 0. See how it was equal to 0 there? Now it's equal to -2. Well, could you draw a line at y equals -2? Sure, it's right here. Here's where the line y equals -2 is. That's the line y equals -2. Where does it intersect at? Right here and here. So the answer to this one is a little different. The answer to this one is at -4, -2, and 2, -2. Okay, then the last thing I'm going to teach you today is how do you list all your answers? We don't just write lists of numbers. Sometimes we write just the x values. The x values equal, I put these curvy parentheses, and I write the lowest to the top one that gives us a solution. That means this is a list of answers. We're learning so much today. All right. Could you guys look at this equation and then answer the question, which is, where is the solution? What is the solution to this system of equations? Is it option 1, 3, 2, or 4? But look at the answers. They're not given to you with curvy parentheses. They have brackets, these braces that indicate it's a list of answers. What do you think is in the answers? The x values. Does that make sense? So could you show me with your hand on your chest or in chat, Annabelle and Taylor, where the answer is? Like which one is it? Option 1, 2, 3, or 4? So show me on your chest. Andre, you haven't done this in a while, so just show me on your chest what you think the list of correct answer is. All right, let me determine it to 1. Okay, I have my answer. Let's see if you're right. Nope. Nope. Oh, no one that knows. Okay, this is good to know. Nope. Where does it intersect? Where do the two lines intersect? No. A lot of people think it's 0, 4, and they do not intersect at x equals 0. No. No. Yes, Anthony. Yes, Andre. Okay, the answer is option 2 because it intersects at x equals 1 and x equals 4.
Oh.
Does that make sense? Okay, 1 and 4. Okay, that was a lot. Okay, you have a homework tonight. You have great student brains to work on that. Let me know if you have any questions tomorrow. I think you will. But have a good day. Don't spend more than 20 minutes on homework.